Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another match of the TOUHOU Project Mania Cup 4 Federation, back with the round of 16 weekend that is just closing out. We've got our final match happening here. This is happening 20 UTC at the 30th minute, and it's going to be none other than Mr. Beajek's Windsor Arc versus SpongeBob Water. So two teams basically having made their way through the bracket pretty clean so far, going to be facing off against each other in this bracket, as we can see here. And Jesus Christ, why is this song playing? Oh my god. Yeah, gonna be, oh god. But yeah, anyways, yeah, what are their seedings? Do we know? Oh, it's seed 10, seed 7 versus seed 10, actually. That's gonna be relatively interesting. Mr. BX winner are seed 7 and SpongeBob Water seed 10, so. But obviously, before we get into the match, I'm your host, Epic Man 2, and joining alongside me in this commentary is going to be none other than Sparky. How's your day been, Wayne?
It's been pretty good so far. Can't complain. Excited to get this final match underway here. As you mentioned, a pretty close seeding matchup. Both teams winning their round of 32 match and making it through the group stage to make it here. And I look at these rosters and I see some pretty dang good players gonna be stepping up to the plate here to see who will advance to the quarterfinals in that winners bracket. Not a lot on the line for these two teams in terms of getting kicked out just yet, but one of them will be down in that losers bracket. And to be fair, if I were in the losers bracket, I don't know which one I'd rather deal with.
Same. Actually, no, this is in the winners bracket. Yeah, both these teams had made it out of the round of 32 relatively clean. They, Mr. Beajek beating out Help Me Pepper in 5-3, and SpongeBob Water clearing out Sprite Cranberry with a clean sweep as well. So both these teams already basically like rather fighting from the looks of it. It seems that either one of them is going to be like thrashing one another on this map poll to close the round of 16 weekend as it stands.
Yeah, absolutely. And the loser of this match going to be facing off against E = MC squared in that lower bracket. So
what's a name?
That, I mean, there's some pretty good names in this tournament. I'm not gonna lie. SpongeBob Water is up there.
Water.
What were some other good ones? There's that one team that's literally just like 3 Discord emoji names thrown together.
Bucket 1217 God Scream.
That one, yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah. Got Sprite Cranberry, that's also really good. And it's funny that they went up against SpongeBob Water, the Battle of the Beverages.
Literally, bro.
Looks like we are just waiting on Red Team to make it here. I see Beajek, so I imagine some of them are online. It's just getting them all situated in here. Given the way these two rosters, if I know the players well enough, we might just forego any like warm-up stuff. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna start the roll. Beajek with the 84.
Yeah, gonna be seeing Mr. BX winner arc going with their roll first thing. Gonna be waiting on SpongeBob Water's roll as well, and it seems like, yeah, BX winner are gonna be winning the rolls with 84 points. SpongeBob Water are gonna be rolling only 43, so Mr. BX winner are gonna be the first of many to protect here, or at least like the first team, the last team to, one of the last two teams to make protects here in this round of 16 here, as we can see. I have a feeling that they have like a lot of options like on the board, but overall, like, this might be a relatively like dangerous match for both these teams, considering that they're filled to the brim with incredibly well-versed players in general. It's like you could just protect anything and just hope for the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like LN4 are going to be the protect for the red side here. Unsurprising. I feel like all 8 of the players involved in this match basically can treat this map pool kind of like a warm-up. It's really just going to come down to mental focus, how much they're willing to expend to like sharpshoot a lot of these picks. And misses probably going to be death sentences for performances. I feel like there's going to be very little in terms of trading between these two rosters, and if there are, it's going to be on any of these harder picks that are trying to keep that 300 count as low as possible. And Rice 3 going to be the protect for SpongeBob Water. Unsurprising. Very, very strong core jack oriented team that they can throw out here for that. And we'll see what the bans are going to be. This will give us a little bit more insight.
I'm literally smiling so mischievously right now and rubbing my Wario looking chin. It's literally like, what? The freaking Rice free of all maps is gonna be so scary to watch in this match. But as we can see, SpongeBob Water gonna be banning Alan Was. That's Road to the Moon, like going into a car crash, I guess. And now it's down to WinnerArk to just make the final ban here. The last call. Probably, honestly, these maps are kind of random, but they're going to be going for the Rice 2 bans. That's New World being taken off of the table here, as WinnerArk is going to be making the first move on this chessboard here.
Yeah, now that the protects and bans are out of the way, we can kind of gain some insight as to where both these teams' headspaces are with regards to how they're going to tackle this map pool. In the context of this match, I imagine we might see some deviations from the norm, where this might have like devolved into like all 5 Rice picks getting thrown out here just in a row. But I mean, the overlap in terms of overall skill set from these two teams is we essentially make one circle if we draw a Venn diagram here. Like, there is very little separating these two rosters. They can take points on anything in this map pool, and it looks like we're gonna start off with LN3.
Yeah, so we're going to be starting this match off with another apple by YuEast. It's going to be the wildcard Ellen map. This is going to be the last time it's going to be chosen, and with this one being a bit more on the technical side, I guess it makes a bit of sense as to why they'd like go out for picking this first, or at least like on the side of Mr. Beajek. But at the same time, like, just knowing like all of these high-end players is going to be really intense to watch, I'd say, just because of the fact that it is still like relatively early game. This map pool could probably be comparable to like round of 32 of MWC, like in the 4K World Cups at least. And that's like what makes this all the more scarier, considering that SpongeBob War is literally just basically the USA team, and then the Beajek team is like literally just a Polish team. So
yeah, this is literally just Team USA versus Team Poland.
Yeah.
And I mean, those showdowns in that tournament can really come down to the wire in early game. It's like we've been mentioning, it's like the ability for these players to be able to swing some really disgusting scores on this caliber of map. We aren't at a difficulty range that really bothers any of the players in this lobby. We're gonna have Fubusan and Hello Sun for SpongeBob Water going up against Baguette and Malta for WinnerArk on the other side. And right now, it looks like very little separating these two teams. Fubusan having a little bit of a rough start at the start of this map, down about 0.3% to their next closest counterpart in Malta, and it's gonna be about 1,500 points separating the two rosters as we make our way through this entrance, as Fubusan actually finds the first break, and that's going to give WinnerArk a bit more of a cushion to work with here. 11,000 points to the good going into the second third of this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this song being a bit more of a piano gallop sort of composition, this really does like put a testament to like each of these players when it comes to technical accuracy as well, especially given the fact that this is a wildcard Ellen, has a lot of Jackson, these reverse shields and so on. But so far so good. It seems to be working in the favor of both Baguette and Malz, as we can see. But even Fubusan taking that unfortunate miss earlier in the map is just only going to put a bit of a roadblock in the front of SpongeBob Water, and Hello Sun taking a miss as well. That's basically going to eliminate both of the FCs from SpongeBob Water. Just, yeah, that's scary.
Very scary indeed. Malta in that exchange actually finding a drop as well, able to recover really nicely from it, entering that last third. And I mean, to be fair, it was just like a tiny little blip on what has been a commanding performance from the red side here. 20,000 points to the good going into this outro. Not really much Fubusan and Hello Sun can do to contest at the end of the day, and Winter Arc going to be able to pick up their first point in this match to make it 1-0.
Indeed, a very valiant effort from Mr. Beajek's Winter Arc to really start this match off. As we can see, Beajek getting the score MVP in the lobby, getting that 995k on this map, and being the only player to really get the 990k fully in this map as well. Hello Sun basically being close to it. It was just a matter of the misses that really like sort of costed it, because they had the stronger ratio, unfortunately for them. But as it stands, Mr. Beajek's Winter are going to be getting that first point, and now it's down to SpongeBob Water to dictate the next move for this match.
Yeah, an opportunity to flip the script a little bit, to get things off on the right foot on their side. And I mean, surprised that not instantly just shotgunning a rice pick, and the fact that they're actually taking some time to think about this might mean that they might not be at full strength here. I mean, we see Fubusan and Hello Sun. I haven't seen the other two on their team lingering around the lobby. I would imagine we'd see some acknowledgement on that front, but as things stand, it's gonna be Rice 3, so instantly into the protect here.
Oh boy, I mean, is there really anything else to say here? I mean, like, just knowing like all these players, I think this map just really just does not need any introduction whatsoever when you know all these players. Oh no. God.
I mean, last match we saw what, a 999 and a 998k team score from
oh yeah.
Oh god, what was their team name? It was a combination of their players. Eerie
Idiots. It was Eerie something. Yeah, Eerie Idiots in Space.
From them, they got basically 3k off of a perfect score, and we have players in this lobby that basically can 1-mil some pretty hardcore Jack charts. It'll be interesting to see who decides to back up Hello Sun, because that'll be who I will be watching throughout this. Malta and Klobuk going to be stepping in for Winter Arc on the other side, as we wait to see who's going to step up to the plate here. This is at a BPM, at a density range, where if there are going to be mistakes, like this is very much potential for a V1SS with like 2 misses from anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a feeling for SpongeBob War, they're probably gonna send out Clairpiss for this map, knowing that Clairpiss as a player has like some immense accuracy like capabilities when it comes to these kinds of core jack maps in general. And like this is only really scratching the surface of it, as this is only in the round of 16. It's only clocking in about 140 BP, and I was right. It's going to be Clairpiss going to be finishing the lineup on the side of SpongeBob Water, and I think it is safe to say that both of the lineups of both teams are ready to really just face against each other on such a gauntlet of a map in general. Just the fact that that core jack competitions like are just so daunting in general to watch. It's so scary. But I'm honestly interested to see how both of these teams are going to be doing here.
Yeah, this is one of those maps where there's one of those maps in one of those lobbies where I don't want to say anything because the superstition becomes a very real thing if there is to be a mistake. I don't want to be held culpable for any drops. I always like to say that the players are responsible for their own key presses, but in a lobby like this, I feel like 99.9 is going to be the bar to set. We'll see 100% accuracy from some of the players at certain times as we begin the first row rush of core jack patterning. Not a lot in terms of like really hard anchor patterns. It's very transitional heavy. The 3-note chords start to rain down as the density begins to increase, and everybody is near perfect as we make our way through that first quarter. 500 notes in, we have basically 3 100% accuracies, and I mean, this is going to be the entire map. It's going to be who blinks first, who finds that one singular mistake. It's going to be like a 200 is going to decide this, because everybody is going to V1SS this. The accuracies are staying above this 99.9% mark. It is maybe a handful of 300s. It is not moving. The leaderboard is not moving. It is stuck at 200 points. It does not know how to compute this level of accuracy as we begin to see the density increase once again. You have these little ebbs and flows where players start to pick up a rush here or there. The anchors get a little bit hard to read through sometimes, at least for at this level. It's basically just faltering ever so slightly. 99.96 for both Klobuk and Malta, 99.99 for Clarebus. Hello Sun lending the support. It is hundredths of a percent going into the last quarter of the chart. It is 200 points. It is too close to call at this point.
Yeah, especially with how the score has been flickering this whole match. I think there must have been some sort of minor misjudgment on the side of winner arc, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case, because Hello Sun has dropped their accuracy down a bit going in here, but now it seems like SpongeBob Walter actually has found a bit of a stable lead, but only by a few hundred points. The lead has been like this. Oh no, not again, bro. It's one of night for me, please.
One of these teams is going to be so sorely disappointed by the scoreline at the end of this map. It is coming down to the wire. It is going to be SpongeBob Water by 864 points, 200 in the entire lobby. Sub 7,300 count for everybody in this lobby.
Oh my God. The one great from Hello Sun, literally getting the only great in this entire map. What is going on? And everyone getting like literally under 70 perfects. Like, what is this? No. Oh my God.
It's disgusting levels of accuracy on display here. I mean, we called it right before this map started. All 4 of these players are capable of basically virtually 1-milling that chart, and nearly almost saw it. I don't think you can get any closer. Those are 2 of the team scores of all time, and like I said, one of the 2 teams was going to be upset at the end of that, because they felt like they put everything on the table there. But Winter Arc going to be up to bat once again, had a pretty good level of success on LN3. Wouldn't be surprised if they responded with their protect in response, just go straight into LN4, given how much of a lead they were able to establish. And sure enough,
oh my God, bro, I guess with that, we're going to be seeing the other remaining protect being taken out as well. Once the core jack card had been dealt, and it was insanely close throughout the whole thing. It was only a mere matter of like literally 15 points of difference. It's going to be none other than LN4 coming out. So Rio Note X by Cherry Chow. This is the hardest LN map in the map pool. It's got like a lot of these really, really dense like LN patterns and technical bursts as well. This is definitely going to be insane to like sort of watch. Just really just it's really just a matter of like who is going to be choking on these, who's going to be taking the most misses, and we're going to be seeing Beajek coming back in on the side of Winter Arc, and also Fubusan also coming back in for SpongeBob War as well. So as we say, actually, nah, never mind.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the expected 4 players through the LN picks. Once we get to the hybrids, maybe some variety for either team on the cards, but everybody in this particular lobby is very comfortable with the LN charts. We increased the difficulty a little bit. It is technically LNX or like EX to be a little bit harder, but LN4, again, I'll keep beating the drum of this is still very much in a comfort range for everybody. It's just a matter of consistency. And so far, Winter Arc looking a little bit more consistent on the LNs. 1 map in.
It makes life easier that way, yeah. So yeah, gonna be seeing basically only 2 players just swap out. We're seeing Fubusan go out, but it's gonna be Beta Carotene coming in for the side of SpongeBob Water. Interestingly enough, so I had yet to see them like in action for this tournament, but it seems like this is going to be the case here, swapping out with Fubusan there.
Okay, so I guess Fubusan, the sacrificial lamb for the first LN pick. I imagine Beta Carotene makes a little bit more sense in terms of a backup to Hello-san on an LN chart. They're both very good at LNs at this level. So we'll see what a full strength SpongeBob Water can be on an LN chart against Beajek and Malta, because they looked really good on LN3 earlier.
Absolutely, and like going into this map, you're introduced to a lot of these really tight and very like very like coordination heavy like sections that really need like really demand you like to put a lot of attention in, because it's really dense and there's a lot of like flams and bursts like sort of incorporate into it as well, and also with some reverse shields to really just put that icing on top of the cake here. But it seems like despite those really rigid patterns coming through, no one's going to be missing except Beta Carotene going to be taking the first drop coming into this map. It's going to give Winter Arc the upper hand going into here, basically proving their wit and showing their strength at full force going through this LN map in general, not faltering to a single pattern just yet. It's only mere accuracy drops from them that are probably going to spell anything. Hello-san has the highest accuracy in the lobby so far, but Beta Carotene is just going to have to like just try and build up on their accuracy again to really like try and bring the likes of SpongeBob War back to the equation here.
Yeah, we're reaching the territory of they need to have a miss traded back before too long. Beta Carotene not able to really recoup any of that lost accuracy from their earlier drop, just been in that lower portion of the 99 percentile here, and Hello-san doing everything they can to try and rescue something here, able to put themselves in a position to capitalize if either player from Winter Arc find a drop. But I mean, the consistency on these LNs for Beajek and Malta is something to behold here. Sure, maybe not the most competitive team score out of everybody in the bracket stage so far, but this is definitely more than enough to see off any potential advances from SpongeBob Water. As we get through this outro, Beta Carotene picking up another drop that is unmentioned, but the damage is already done. It is going to be a 15,000 point response to make it 2-1 now.
Bloody hell, an immaculate like performance from everyone. Beajek and Malza basically getting really high caliber 980k scores, and Hello-san getting the highest score in the lobby. A 994k on this map? What? Hello? Son, what are you doing?
Literally in the name. It's like it's not a name, it's a reaction. It's a verbal explanation. But yeah, a MVP performance going unrewarded there. That is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But again, I don't think SpongeBob Water's strategy would be to go into these LNs willingly, given the fact that they banned out LN1 to pinch the map pool a little bit. I imagine I mean, you could kind of just throw a dart at a dartboard to pick what the next Rice map is going to be if they decide to continue down that route. I could also see maybe like a risky play of like going for Hybrid 1 to try and like really pinch the map pool further for Winter Arc on the other side, just limit their options. That's the bold play. I don't think they're gonna do it, but it's the option's always there.
Or simply you could just do what my mate did that one overtime like last week, where he literally just like freaking just threw a dart into another dart, and that said dart just simply pierced through that dart and just went inside. So it basically just like, it just became a dart inside the dart instead of actually going on the board. It just stuck onto the tail of it for some reason. It was so funny.
They hit a Robin Hood. That's crazy.
Literally. But despite that, Fubusan's gonna be picking out Rice 5s that's gonna be made in China coming out again. Oh boy. Actually, no, not again. What am I talking about?
It wasn't the last match, so
yeah,
your recollection is pretty good.
That's unfortunate.
This is a bit of an easier chart in comparison to Rice 3. The BPM isn't that much of an issue. It is just, can you read some of the more awkward patterning in it? And we're going to see Clarepus and Hello Sun be in for this one to see if they can maintain parity. I feel like with the way things have been going so far, Winter Arc has a bit more of a chance to take a breakpoint on the Rice charts than SpongeBob Water do on the LN charts. So this could potentially break this match open in terms of picking strategy, but we'll just have to wait and see how Klobuk and Malta do against the likes of Hello Sun and Clarepus on Rice 5.
Absolutely, and seeing Klobuk and Clarepus come in for their respective teams once again, going to be starting this map off, going to be starting this pick off with none other than Rice 5, so this is going to be a lot more technical than the Beajek map that we have seen. It's probably going to be a battle to the death when it comes to accuracy as well, except this time it's probably going to be a lot more difficult considering these patterns are nowhere near being straightforward. They're literally like just all over the place. Once you get into that first chorus, then you really just know what the taste is already, what it already tastes like. It reminds me of this one bloody like Super Mario like Pringles can that I had like earlier when I went to some random university, and it was a random flavor. I think my mate said it was like prawn cocktail, but I digress. This is basically like what is like sort of in the map, but not quite at the dubstep chorus yet. You just get into like this sort of trap beat oriented section, and so far it seems like all the players are just simply hanging on really well. The score is only really tugging between both of these players, both just really just hopscotching between its barriers, as we could see, with no changes yet to be made until here maybe.
Yeah, halfway through the chart, there is very little separating these two teams once again on these Rice picks. These little staircase bursts raining down as we get into the aforementioned like dubstep key eye section, and everybody holding steady. 99.95 the average accuracy in this lobby. It is literally 0.02% separating all four players in this lobby. There is very little to work with for either side at the moment. Similar to Rice 3, it is hundreds of points going into this last quarter. Who is going to blink first? Who is going to find that first real rush? And we see a spike of about 1,000 points going away SpongeBob Water. It is still all four players hanging on to this 99.9% accuracy going into the outro. Hello Sun and Clarepus able to withstand this charge from Klobuk and Malta. And as it stands, there's still plenty of opportunity for things to swing here. It is still so volatile to work with, but as the last couple of notes rain down here, it is going to be 1,400 points the margin of victory for SpongeBob Water, make it 2-2.
Bro, some insane scores all around. No one has gotten a single misjudgment. It was all down to the ratios, and with the likes of Hello Sun and Clarepus having the strongest ratios in the lobby, Clarepus just almost getting sub 50. That is basically spelled this point for them. It was really a battle of the fittest, and now with both of these teams tied once more, it seems like Mr. Beajek's winner arc really is gonna have to try and really be considerate about their next. They're gonna go for Ellen 2 right off the bat. Gonna go for the Ellen pick. Then once again, gonna be their final Ellen map as well, as the Ellen 1 map had also been banned earlier on. Ellen, that's gonna be their lost sort of trump card to make here when it comes to picks that they're probably the more safest on, arguably.
Yeah, this isn't surprising in the slightest. We're gonna see what is surprising. We see Ty coming in for winter arc. Bit of a maybe cameo appearance. I can get behind it. I mean, density LN definitely a more comfortable skill set for a lot of players in comparison to like coordination. So it's more accessible to players, and if they have a really consistent score on this, then I mean, hey, might as well use them. You got 4 players. It's the luxury of having a full roster here, and we see Beta Carotene check back in. Unsurprising for SpongeBob Water here to try and contest on this pick. And I mean, alluding to a little bit earlier where I was mentioning, it's like Winter Art just seems a little bit more well-rounded in their skill sets as a team in comparison to SpongeBob Water, because of the fact that they can handle SpongeBob Water in terms of rice accuracy, and the fact that they're winning these LN picks, dare I say, convincingly. The margin of victory is much bigger than the loss margin on the rice picks. So it's gonna be up to SpongeBob Water to see if they can hold a consistent team performance on this to maybe turn the tides a little bit, because as it stands, we are maintaining parity, and parity means tiebreaker.
Yeah, everything means a tiebreaker these days. I could easily just say that like the air is a tiebreaker and everyone's going to say real and just spam me with Discord reactions or something, I don't know. But as we can see, going into this LN density section, we're basically introduced to like a sort of jump streamy oriented section with like a lot of these coordination sort of based patterns, while it sort of fits the gist, the job description of a jump stream map. And so far it seems like SpongeBob Water has the upper hand by only a few hundred points. Gonna be seeing Hello Sun hanging on to the highest accuracy in the lobby, hanging on to the 99.90% accuracy on the board. Beajek not too far behind either, hanging on to the 99.85% accuracy, whereas like it's just Taj and Beta Carotene that basically have matched accuracies so far, going through a lot of these really sort of dense density sections, as we can see here.
Yeah, there's always a worry when it comes to LN density charts. If the structures are very short 1/4 based, you can bring in basically rice accuracy sharpshooters to be able to play through it. And Ty's picking up the first break for Winter Art, going to help bolster this lead that SpongeBob Water has built up. Beta Carotene was able to hold them off just based on the accuracy alone, but now having the couple of misses in the back pocket going to help ensure that they can stave off any potential advances. Beajek doing very well to neutralize Hello Sun, or at least keep that score in check, to see if Taj can make the bit of the recovery run. A quarter of the map still left to go, but 2 FCs left on the side of SpongeBob Water, going to make things a bit of tough sledding here as we continue on here.
Absolutely, and like now with only the final core of the map left, Taj taking that really bad drop on the side of Winter Art. They had such a strong foundation, but with that one miss alone, that's just going to give SpongeBob War about 10,000 points to break with on this point, especially now that it was on their final LN map. This was in their advantage throughout the majority of the map, or at least like it could have been in their favor. But because of the one miss alone, there was not enough time for things to swing back onto their side, unfortunately for them. It's going to be SpongeBob War making the breakpoint off of Winter Ark's LN map and the final LN map to be exhausted from the category.
And that might be the breakpoint that really turns the tide here. I'm not going to say it's impossible for Winter Arc to get that breakpoint back, given how they've been performing on these rice picks. They have been pushing SpongeBob Water to the absolute limit. The fact that you can double-digit 300 V1 double S, put up a team score of near perfection, and still lose a point is ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed, but yet we find ourselves here in this situation as we wait for SpongeBob Water to see if they can capitalize off that breakpoint opportunity. Maybe a chance to go for something a little riskier, reserve some of those rice picks. But given how late in the match we are, they might want to just keep things simple. Just go for one of these remaining rice picks to keep things in check a little bit. Don't want to extend the olive branch the other way if you can avoid it here.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing both these teams at least, they have like half the rice pool available, but they also have the hybrid pool available on top of that as well. But I have a feeling that like both these teams are probably gonna favor like some of these like rice maps a bit more. Maybe SpongeBob War would favor them, but Winter Arc, having like used all of the Ellen maps and having won off of like 2 of them, they're probably gonna like use like at least one of these hybrids as a last resort, I'd say. Maybe the likes of Tono Genso, which is hybrid 1, because that's like more straightforward. But it seems like SpongeBob War is actually going to be picking Rice 6. It's going to be Rock and Rockbeat coming in, just rocking the competition, I guess. I don't know.
Something. But yeah, unsurprising, staying with the rice pool, not wanting to complicate matters. I feel like hybrids would have been a bridge too far. They'll get to them eventually. I feel like this is the path of least resistance for them, and given how they've been performing, they need every single point that they can muster on these rice picks so far, because I mean, Klobuk and Malta are ridiculously good on the rice picks in this pool so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And like just knowing how like versatile both of these players are in general, there's like just a lot of like things that can just happen. So this is gonna be really like intense to watch on that note. But from the looks of it, it seems like they're gonna be starting this pick off already as everyone sends out their good lucks. To see if these players are gonna be having fun is yet to be seen, I'd say.
Alrighty, so getting things underway. Gotta make sure everybody loads in appropriately as Bancho decides to play with us a little bit. We can officially see where things are here. It is gonna be Rice 6. And once again, we find ourselves in the same situation we found ourselves on the other 3 rice picks. But as I say that, Klobuk actually picking up the first drop. Gonna give it a second to see if it was a Bancho miss, but I don't see the combo recovering. I think that is the first organic drop we have seen on one of these rice charts. And it's gonna give SpongeBob Water a bit of a cushion to work with. The largest cushion they have had to work with on a rice pick so far in this match. 5,000 points to the good. Both Hello Sun and Clarepus able to be above that 99.95% mark. Malta, the next closest, behind them by about 200%, but they need Klobuk to be able to lend that supporting score, and I don't think they can get back over that 99.9 mark given that miss.
Yeah, absolutely. Like knowing them, they really got to be able to like keep themselves in check. They want to be able to keep the competition like close by, and knowing that everyone is still over the 99.90% accuracy mark. It's only Klobuk that's the only outlier here because of the one miss from earlier on. That is really gonna like shift the score unfortunately for them, just bringing it onto the side of SpongeBob War. On a side note, Vo, did you all know I can technically rock?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy scenes here as we make our way to the back half of the map. Minute 30 seconds left for this Rice 6 pick, and so far SpongeBob Water has yet to put a foot wrong on any of these Rice maps so far. A really consistent performance from both of them. 6,000 points still to the good. Malta doing everything in their power to try and keep either Clearpus or Hello Sun in check. And Klobuk actually making a pretty nice recovery run from their earlier drop, but that drop is making the entirety of the difference as things stand. A quarter of the map left to go. Not out of the woods just yet if you are SpongeBob Water, but with the way they've been playing, it's going to be really hard for them to trade that miss back. Ooh. And there goes Malta as well. Last quarter of the map left to go, transitioning into this tiny bit of an LN section, and that might be the final nail in the coffin. Some extra breathing room now for SpongeBob Water to work with. Both FCs gone for the side of Winter Arc, and both of their players below that 99.9% mark as Hello Sun and Clearpus just riding off into the sunset. 11,000 points to the good going into this outro, and there is very little Winter Arc can do from this position. They're going to need some misses traded back to bring themselves back into this, but I don't think there's enough time at this point.
Yeah, going into this outro, there's really like only these final few bursts left and some of these like dense core jacks for one of these players to drop on, but even then that's not going to mean anything going into this outro as this map just closes out abruptly, giving SpongeBob Water their match point already, as we see Clearpus and Hello Sun getting a V1 double S like in very, very close cooperation, and Hello Sun getting the strongest ratio in the lobby as well. Clearpus not too far behind either. This is definitely like an insanely threatening situation for the likes of Mr. BX Winter Arc, as this is in the winners bracket of SpongeBob War at the match point. They're really gonna have to be careful with their next pick. They don't have any LN maps left, so they're probably gonna have to use the hybrid maps as one of their closer alternatives if push comes to shove here. But I have a feeling that they might want to play it safe and you go for at least one of these Rice maps or something like that, which might be safe, but that is really like just a case-by-case scenario at this point. I have no idea like what exactly is going to be considered safe for them anymore, but they're going to be going hybrid 1 despite that.
Yeah, normally in this kind of situation, so you give the breakpoint over and we could say like, okay, the avenue for the other side of the map pool is closed off, but I wouldn't have been against them going for a Rice pick at the end of the day, given how close these scores have been. But hybrid 1, another understandable pick as well, given how good they've been doing on the LN side of the pool, LN2 notwithstanding. This is I think the shortest map in this pool by a couple of seconds. Might give or take a couple, but gonna be last chance for them to ensure that they can go out on their own terms if this doesn't work out for them. But I mean, it's not over until that last point gets won, and I think the onus is on SpongeBob Water to be able to prove they can close this out. That 5th point in this particular match is going to be the hardest one to secure in this instance.
Absolutely, and like knowing that Winter Arc is still an incredible team of such a great possessing power as well. This is a fight that is not going to end easily. Even for SpongeBob Water, this can definitely still go to tiebreaker if Winter Arc does end up winning the next 2 points, but that is gonna take some effort. It's gonna take blood, sweat, and tears as usual. But I'm saying that as if they haven't been using all of that throughout this whole match, and damn. But despite that, gonna be seeing hybrid 1 in just a bit, just waiting on all these players to simply ready up, and we should probably get things going underway.
Yep, sure enough, Deluxe come out. Match point situation for SpongeBob Water, a chance to close this out with another breakpoint. Winter Arc looking to try and save that off. They're going to need to get that breakpoint back. And, I mean, if they do make it, if they do win this point, I mean, SpongeBob Water is going to make this as hard as humanly possible to get that breakpoint back. And here we go. Shortest map in the pool. Mistake's going to be amplified so much more than any of the other picks in this map pool. And everybody with strong starts. Fubusan actually lagging behind just a little bit with the opening accuracy exchange. 99.7 for them. And Beajek actually dropping down to meet them, going to put this into a bit of a contentious space again inside of a couple hundred points. Where have we seen this before?
Oh, I wonder. But yeah, anyways, gonna be getting with that one sort of like, but yeah, with Beajek and Malta just dropping their accuracy down a bit, that's just gonna give SpongeBob Water the upper hand for the time being, giving them about 1,000 points ahead, 1,000 points precisely to breathe with, and now going 2,000, just pushing it, really going through like all these really like sort of rice oriented sections. We get introduced to this like sort of jack oriented section as it goes into like triplet rhythms for just a bit, and so far no one is simply flinching on it. Hello Sun hanging on to the highest accuracy in the lobby, still hanging on to the 99.90% accuracy going into this as we go into yet another coordination section. But I think someone must have dropped. If Fubusan gonna be dropping a bit of accuracy on those patterns, that's gonna give Winter Arc the upper hand for a bit. But even then, they're still dropping some accuracy as well, just simply trading it back to even things out. That's only gonna make things all the more closer, and it's not gonna help their case if someone does end up missing, and it's not someone on Winter, and it's not someone on SpongeBob Water, which is what they desperately need right now.
Going into the outro, it is still too close to it. What was that trade at the very end? Somebody missed. Oh my goodness!
What was that?
What was that outro?
Dude, I literally jumped out my chair. That was scary. What?
Oh, what an outro.
Dude, I had a heart attack. Don't do me like this. It's late at night for me, goddammit. I have college in the morning at like 9:30. Oh my god. But anyways, with that, we are going to be securing their life in the winners bracket just with such an unexpected ending. It could have definitely gone into SpongeBob Water's favor, but because of Fubusan's fatigue, that just costed it and just swung it over to Winter Arc by accident. So now Winter Arc just has like one more map to win, and it's going to be from SpongeBob War's pick. I think at this point, Winter Arc is really just gonna have to like try and survive this oncoming avalanche of notes that is really gonna like falter them behind if anything does happen. If they don't end up just simply going, if they don't end up like simply getting the option that would be in their favor, the nerves really are at an all-time high right now, to say the least, honestly, and it's just scary to see coming into here, knowing both these teams are just relatively close in the scoring as well.
This is some late fireworks here. That it would have been heartbreaking for Winter Arc if they had gone out like that. That was, I mean, they barely put a foot wrong in this match. And the SpongeBob Water going to go for Rice 4 to try and close this out. And, I mean, Hybrid 2 was an option, probably not one they wanted to go into when you have Hello Sun and Clarapis, who have been playing out of their minds on these Rice picks. Klobuck and Malta doing... I feel like we've said this in week where it's like any other team, and Klobuck and Malta win those Rice maps easily. But the brick wall has appeared of Hello Sun and Clarapis. And as we get into Rice 4, breakpoint opportunity has to be here. So either SpongeBob Water punch their ticket into quarterfinals in the winners bracket, or we get a tiebreaker.
Yep, it's only one of the two, but all these teams really gonna have to really carefully pick their poisons. We can see this is the final map of this map pool, or at least the final regular map, to say the least, for both of these teams here. This is literally nothing short of a technical dump chart in its own right, and it has like a lot of patterns that are just so gimmicky and finicky in their own right that it can just throw anyone off regardless of what caliber they are. And if we do see it like actually putting an effect on anyone here, then that is going to spell a lot of problems for anyone. Any mistake here is so futile that it's unimaginable here. And as we see some of these like dumps like coming in, going into the first verse, seems like no one is simply flinching so far, going through a lot of these like first without anything. This map is 3 minutes long. There's a lot of room for mistakes, no matter how you see it, no matter what angle you're simply looking from, no matter if you're like looking at it from first person or third person or even second person here, it's gonna be dangerous.
And Clarepus actually finding the first drop in the lobby through the first quarter of the map, not traded out here, as Bancho takes a second to build the anticipation. It's already been a heart and mouth moment of a match, and as we get back into it, it's been 99.9% the margin for these Rice picks the entirety of this match. And as Clarepus begins that recovery run, half the map already gone here. It's 6,000 points. Hello Sun doing everything in their power to hold off Klobuck, but they have been a very tough customer to deal with. 0.03% separating the two of them, and the battle really just boils down to, can Clarepus get the better of Malta despite that miss? That it's paying dividends right now for Winter Arc's advantage here, as SpongeBob Water tries to chip away at it through any means necessary. With a third of the map left to go, it's still 6,000 points for Winter Arc.
Yeah, absolutely. And like getting into this next verse here, there's still a lot of map left. They're already past the halfway mark of the map. There's only just about a quarter of the map left, and so far so good. Mr. BX Winter Arc has the upper hand with about nearly 6,000 points, and going through that trill that could definitely throw people off. It's not flinching anyone. At most, pretty much everyone is still above the 99.90% accuracy mark. It's only Hello Sun. Hello Sun is gonna spell. That's gonna spell the point for the most likely Klobuck and Bolsa. Still having not found a single miss on this map. This is probably spelling. We're probably gonna be going to tiebreaker for the final match. Oh my god, dude, not again.
Last couple of notes raining down here, and Mr. Beajek's Winter Arc down but not out. The last point, the hardest to secure. Once again, we are tied 4-4, and we have nothing left to do but go to that tiebreaker.
Man, what a way to just simply end this bloody final match of the round of 16. But we're going to be going into this tiebreaker. Both of these teams going to be fighting for their lives to just stay in the winner's bracket. Whoever loses is going to be knocked down into the loser's bracket, and that is a fate that neither of these teams want. They have been so equal, and they've basically been in such a massive 3-leg race. Hell, scrap that, it's like a 6-leg race at this point, just going through everything, all these rice maps, all the Ellens, and also a hybrid. There's only the tiebreaker left, the final or at least just basically hybrid 2, Tokyo Drift. But yeah.
Alrighty, now I think the only question left to ask is who is going to come in to contest on it. It's, I mean, hybrid in nature, and we've seen things swing both ways. I feel like it's going to be the players we see on screen. As I say that, Clarepus actually subbing out for Fubusan. So Fubusan going to be backing up Hello Sun. Bagetka and Malta going to be the two for Winter Arc, unless we see anything last second. But I mean, honestly, this is probably the most consistent roster for both of these sides on a style of pick like this.
Yeah, especially,
I don't know who has the advantage. Sorry.
Yeah, same. it's just crazy when you get to a point where like you're literally still in the early game of the tournament and like you literally just get everyone like on such an equal footing that it's so hard to discern like who has the actual advantage and who does by a long shot here. Because we've seen from Beajek and Malza putting in so much effort. Hello-san and Fubu-san also complementing and rolling off of each other's back very well throughout this whole match as well. But now they're going to be facing against each other on this tiebreaker to see who is going to really capitalize off of it and get and secure the final point. But so far it seems like getting into like this first course, it's going to be SpongeBob getting the slices of advantages, going for a pattern, going through this section that throws so many different patterns at you. And despite that, not going to be throwing them off just yet. Not going to be knocking them off their socks just yet. Fubu-san has dropped their accuracy down to about 99.40%. The lowest hanging fruit of the whole lobby so far, just under Beajek. But so far, nothing drastic is happening going past this course. It's just this Allen wall. Just watch out. But it seems like Beajek and Moles are going to be falling victim to that one Ellen wall. That bloody avalanche of an LN pattern that threw them off. That's just going to increase the score on the side of SpongeBob as we get into this next section.
A quarter of the map down, and we start to get a bit of a clearer picture as to where the two teams stand. It has been balanced performance is the name of the game for Winter Arc throughout this entire match, and right now both of their players in and around that low to mid 99% accuracy. Fubu-san being able to pick it up just a little bit, had the lowest accuracy in the lobby, but now starting to cancel out Beajek, who finds the first drop, a slider break on this coordination section. Bit of a lull in terms of the overall action, going to give SpongeBob Water a bit more of a cushion to work with. That's the only FC gone so far in this map, as we take stock of the situation. Still only 7,000 points. Didn't even exacerbate that lead all that much. They were the lowest accuracy in this lobby, so didn't bleed over too many points. As we begin to pick up the pace once again, these rice bursts begin to rain down. The Allen walls as well, super hard to read through, starting to catch out a couple of the players, a couple of hundreds raining down across the lobby, but everybody managing to hang on through the worst of it, taking only minimal damage at the end of the day, and it is still 7,500 points. That's Fubu-san final call as well. So two FCs gone, one on either side, shrinks the lead, 4,500 points. A second slider break coming through, and it's going to put things in a precarious position. 2,000. Fubu-san keeps finding breaks on this break section, not able to handle the slowdown here as the lead is all but gone. It's actually swinging back on over to Winter Arc. A couple hundred points they're starting to contest here as we make our way into the back half of the map.
Yeah, as we can see, going past the first half of this BPM increase section with so many of these diverse genre changes, it's still only gaining paces, and Fubu-san gonna be taking that drop that's just gonna bring the lead over to Winter Arc for the time being, getting into this sort of core jack oriented section, just bringing them 2,000 points of a cushion to breathe from. You get another rice burst section with just to represent these hard style like screeches in the background, and then you still got so much of this section left. You got this drum step section, which has like a lot of these really sort of amorphous looking patterns, and Fubu-san still dropping. Fubu-san is basically the lowest hanging fruit of SpongeBob War and just falling victim to a lot of these very, very tight patterns. That's just only going to work in favor of Mr. BX Winter Arc. This is what they had been hoping for. But even with the nose of taking the best, no, this was sure a calmer part. Well, this is gonna be, it's very, very dangerous. And not only that, but this is also the end of this BPM increase section. It's now at this point, it's gonna go into like the real source of the song. You just have the next speedcore oriented chorus, and then that's going to be where the real competition stands for all these players in question. Who is going to make it out of this alive?
Last 8 that the chart left to go. Last major Ellen wall section coming through here. And Fubusan's gonna be the first one to find the drop. Now traded back. And got a couple of misses coming through from their side. Winner Arc able to maintain the consistency. It has been these balanced performances from the red team that has carried them through. No major misses through that last major outburst. Then as we make our way through this outro, gotta watch. It is not safe by any stretch of the imagination, but you feel as if though they have done enough at the end of the day by Beajek and Malta being able to put away Hello Sun and Fubusan and SpongeBob Water as a whole. Last major LN wall to read through, and it is going to be Mr. Beajek's Winter Arc putting themselves through into the winners quarterfinals, knocking SpongeBob Water into that losers bracket despite that 1-200 performance from Hello Sun.
What on earth is that score? 996K on the freaking tiebreaker, and yet even that is not enough to really be able to secure that final point that they would have needed to remain in the winner's bracket. With Mr. Beajek's Winter Arc preventing the upset from being pushed forward. They're going to maintain their slot in the winner's bracket, pushing and punching their way into the quarterfinals weekend. A strong effort from like all of these players to end the round of 16 off, showing off their real colors and what they are made of, getting their names out there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Mr. Beajek's Winter Arc continuing into the next episode, as the next chapter is going to be unfolding later on.
Absolutely. What a way to close out the round of 16 weekend. An absolute barn burner of a tiebreaker coming down to the wire there. But officially it is over. We have the bracket set. We've said goodbye to a couple of teams so far this weekend. And I mean, all that's left is that quarterfinals map pool showcase. Time to be determined. Keep an eye out on the Discord for that. But do you have anything left to add here before we close things out?
Nothing much. I believe the showcase for the quarterfinals map pool showcase should be at 12 UTC tomorrow on Monday. So basically the regular time, it's basically like the time that most of the other showcases for each map pool have been happening so far, at least. So I think it is safe to say, or at least safe to presume, that it is going to be like when the map pool is going to be showcased. A lot of maps I've seen the map pool myself, and like a lot of these maps are looking real fire. I'm honestly like excited to see how each of these players are going to be making do with each one of them here. We hope you stay tuned for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, that'll be it for us. Until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.